During the devastating Bhuj earthquake in 2001, thousands of people lost their home and their loved ones. But during this, something remarkably happened. People from all different communities like Sikhs, Muslims, Christians, they were actually helping each other. In Bhuj, a local mosque opened its door to shelter displaced Hindus, and Hindu temples were providing food to the people of different communities. So the people who were not actually talking with each other before, they are now eating, talking, sleeping with each other. Example like this shows us that when humanity takes the lead, prejudices disappear and social integration becomes the reality. Social integration in this context can be explained as it is a process when people from different communities, people from different groups, they all come together and they share a common identity. They want to do better with themselves and with the society. This is called social integration. If we want to talk about some of the principles of social integration, we can talk about that social integration rely upon the principles of inclusion. It rely upon the principle of equality, mutual respect, harmony, peace and cooperation. And the objective of social integration is to reduce discrimination from the society and to promote equality among the people. This is what social integration is. Now you know that in India, there are so many hurdles in providing social integration, in achieving the target of social integration. So in today's class, we are going to discuss that how can we reduce all those conflicts. So many conflicts are there, so many prejudices, stereotype, discrimination are there. That is why social integration is not possible. So what are the ways which we can adopt to reduce all those prejudices, to reduce all those conflicts, to reduce all those discrimination? Okay, now first of all, we need to discuss that why it is not possible. What are the reasons? What are the reasons which is actually creating a hurdle in promoting social integration in India? So hurdles are this. These hurdles, these problems we already have discussed in our previous lectures. Okay, the hurdles are, in a nutshell, we can say social categorization theory given by Tajfir. So humans have the tendency to categorize people into in-group versus out-group, which then lead to the biases, in-group biases, out-group biases. मेरा ग्रुप बहुत अच्छा है, उसका ग्रुप बहुत बेकार है. This is social categorization, which then lead to social discrimination. Second one is frustration aggression hypothesis given by Dollard and et al. It is also known as scapegoat theory. Whenever your goal is blocked, you want to achieve something and that goal is blocked, then it creates frustration and then it will lead to aggression, which will be displaced on the minorities and on the marginalized section of the society. This is frustration aggression hypothesis. Confirmation biases is also one of the reasons of increasing prejudices in the society. Okay, we always want to confirm our belief. So if you believe that women are too emotional, then you always look for evidences which will confirm this belief. If you believe that there is particular section of the society which is violent, then you will always look for the evidences which will prove your confirmation. You will avoid all the good things about that particular community, about that particular group. This is confirmation bias. Same conformity and group norms are there. People want to conform with the group. People want to confirm themselves with the values aligned with the group. They don't want to go against them. Therefore, they believe what are the values in the society, what are the values in the group. These are the values of themselves. The last one is cognitive dissonance theory, which talks about that whenever there is a conflict between our action and our belief, then there is a discomfort. We cannot live in peace. So if we want to live in peace, we need to make alignment in our belief and our action. So let's say, for example, if a person believes on the concept of gender equality and that particular person is actually discriminating against women, he is not appointing women for any managerial post, and he believes in the concept of gender equality. So this is a contradiction. Now he will confirm his belief. He will say that I believe in gender equality, but I did not appoint the women for this particular post because women, that particular girl is not eligible. Okay, so he is given a justification. Okay, he is given a justification because he cannot live in discomfort. He cannot live in dissonance. So this is also one of the reasons. So these reasons we have already discussed. These are the reasons which give rise to conflict, which give rise to prejudices, stereotype and discrimination in the society. And therefore conflict are there, and therefore hurdles created in the path of social integration. Now our objective is that how to remove them. So if we want to remove all these hurdles and want to achieve the path of social integration, then important point to focus upon are this point. Okay, so you can see these are the important theories, these are the important concepts. Now you can mention these concepts everywhere. Whenever there is a question related to discrimination, prejudices, conflict, religious violence, anything, then you can mention these names. Okay, important are contact hypothesis given by Alport. And mind it, mentioning the name of the researcher is very important. Always mention this. Contact hypothesis given by Alport. Superordinate goal given by Sheriff, Roberts cave experiment, very famous experiment. Perspective taking and empathy, a small concept. Cognitive dissonance theory given by Festinger. Jigsaw classroom technique, it is actually given by Aronson. Decategorization concept, also known as common in-group identity model. Okay, so there are total, you can see 6 methods which you can mention whenever you want to mention that how to reduce social conflict and how to bring social integration into the society. Now one by one we can discuss these in brief also, and details you can read in our printed notes, it is given over there, but in brief, in nutshell, we will discuss that what are mentioned into this particular theory. So let us first discuss about the concept of contact hypothesis given by Alport. So Alport has introduced the concept of contact hypothesis in his book Nature of Prejudices, and this concept became popularized in 20th century because in 20th century there was so much racial discrimination in the society. So Alport has talked about this concept of contact hypothesis. Okay, so Alport has said that we can increase contact among the people if we focus upon 4 important areas. 4 aspects of contact hypothesis are there. The first one is equal status, the second one is common goal, third one is intergroup cooperation, and the fourth one is institutional support. So if you want to increase contact among the people, the first one is equal status. So we need to give people equal status. Let's say for example, there is one room and this room is shared by 2 people of different communities. The person from one community is an IPS officer, the person from other community is a clerk. Then it is not possible to increase contact. So we need to provide equal status to both the people. If one is IPS, then other should also be an IPS. That is equal status. That is why reservations are there, so that we can provide equal status to the marginalized section of the society. Okay, so this is condition number 1. Equal status, equal opportunities among the people is important. Second one is common goal. They should be having a common goal to achieve. A common target should be there. Third one is cooperation. They should engage in certain tasks which requires cooperation, not competition. This is very, very important. Okay, equal status, then create a common goal for them, and then engage them in such tasks which will increase cooperation among them. And the fourth one, very important, institutional support. Government institutions, they should also support in increasing contact among the people. So with the help of these 4 steps, we can increase contact. Okay, if we talk about the second one, the second is superordinate goal. Now this is a very famous experiment which was conducted by Sheriff, Roberts cave experiment. Now with the help of this particular experiment, Sheriff has given a particular theory, particular concept, that if all the people of conflicting group sit together and they work towards any kind of cooperation, then contact can be increased, unity can be increased. So Sheriff has said that if there is a competition, there will be a conflict. If there is a cooperation, there will be an integration. This is actually the nutshell. You can see the theory of the concept of superordinate goal. Okay, a famous Roberts cave experiment is also there. You can read about this and you can apply this. You can see the application of this particular concept in Indian society also. Okay, for example, Naga peace talks. Okay, so in Naga peace talks, government sit along with all the people of Naga, all the different communities. They were conflicting with each other, a lot of conflict are there, but then they sit together. Why? Because there has to be peace, there has to be social integration, then only they can survive. Okay, so these are what? These are superordinate goal. So let's say for example, there are communities, they are fighting with each other. Why they are fighting? Because of the competition. Now give them certain target which can be achieved only if they cooperate with each other. These targets are superordinate goal. Okay, this is what is done in Robert's cave experiment also. We will discuss this experiment separately, but this is one method with the help of which we can bring social integration into the society. Next concept we can discuss it. So the next concept is perspective taking and empathy. We can also generate compassion, we can also generate empathy among the people if we encourage people to see the world from another perspective. If another people understand that what are the pain, what are the struggle that particular person is going through, if we are discriminating against them, then it can change their perspective. It can bring empathy, it can bring compassion. For example, Bollywood and OTT platforms, they try to do certain kind of things. There was movie Article 15 in 2019. So it shows that what happens with the marginalized people, what are the discrimination done against them. So it is actually changing the perspective of the people. Okay, a lot of things you can mention, you can quote over there, there is no issue. So this is what perspective taking and empathy. This is also one of the methods with the help of which we can bring social integration. So we discuss about content hypothesis, superordinate goal, perspective taking and empathy, and we can also discuss one more technique, jigsaw classroom. This technique was developed by Elliot Aronson. Now what they have done in this particular experiment, it's a very famous experiment. You can also see video and research paper related to this. So what they have done, they have collected some individuals. For example, there is a group, there is a class. Now in that particular class, students are from different communities. Okay, one student is from Hindu community, Muslim community, one is from Dalit community, one is Sikh community. So different communities are there. Now a teacher will give a certain task. That task can be completed only and only when all the people come together. For example, a teacher has given students that you need to prepare a lecture on the achievement of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, for one student, teacher has given the task that he will explore what Mahatma Gandhi has done in South Africa. For another student, he has given the task that explore about non-cooperation movement. Another one explore about civil disobedience movement. Another one explore about Quit India movement. Now, these tasks given to all the students, to all the 4 or 5 students. Now they have to work each other, they have to collaborate with each other. Then only in that particular case, a good project can be prepared on the achievement of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so this is known as jigsaw technique. Now this technique also used by various NGOs, in various schools also, curriculum also. Why? To bring social integration, to bring community on the people, to change their perspective. It will bring cooperation. And cooperation is what is required in bringing social integration. Competition is not required. Cooperation is required. If cooperation is there, we can definitely bring integration into the society. So these are the important techniques with the help of which we can reduce conflict, we can bring social integration.